Welcome back everyone. We've discussed a lot about the part of speech and this is the last video and there will be 3 topics together that is about the preposition, conjunction and interjection. Alright, let's see. The first one, I'd like to start with the preposition. Do you know why we need the preposition in the sentence? Do we really need that or can we just remove that out from the sentence? Alright. We normally use the preposition in order to indicate the location, like the word in, near, beside, on top of, or probably like the word above, under, right? A lot more with that we can use them in order to talk about the location or about the place, or some other relationship between a noun or pronoun and other parts of the sentence, like the word about, after, besides, instead of, in accordance with. So actually it's not only about the place because the preposition can be used in order to talk about the time and also that is to make some kind of relation. That is to tell you about the relationship between two nouns in that sentence. Imagine if we don't have the preposition, what would happen? Alright, let's see. A preposition isn't a preposition unless it goes with a related noun or pronoun. That is called the object of the preposition. So can you remember when we discussed about the object? I mentioned earlier about direct object, right? Indirect object. But actually we have another one that is called object of the preposition and it's here. So it means that whenever you are using the preposition, there must be something behind or after that preposition and that is called object of the preposition. Normally they are the noun or it can be the pronoun. Okay, example, we have a little cat, little kitty here. A cat is on the tree. So we have 2 nouns in this sentence, right? We have the word a cat and we have the word the tree. So if you want to talk about like the location, where is the cat? But if we don't have the preposition, well, it's pretty hard to like express or convey the message in this sentence. Okay, so luckily we have the word on. Now, on is the preposition in this sentence and we understand that the cat is on the tree. Alright, but if you think that, well, we don't need the preposition, what would happen if we don't have the preposition? It will look like this. A cat is the tree. Oh really? A cat is a tree. It looks like a monster cat or something. So I don't think so. Okay, so you can see that we have a cat and the word tree. That is to tell the location. That is to tell the relationship between these 2 nouns. Alright? And we have so many ways in order to use the preposition. This is only some basic prepositions that you can see all around yourself. Okay, it can be used in your daily life, like the word under. We have so many cats here. We have the word under. The cat is under the box. We have the word between. A bird is between 2 boxes. The word out or the word close to. Okay, so we have the word out. The cat is out of the box or it's pretty close to the box. The word in or inside. The word above, behind, on, or like the word in front of. You can make use of these prepositions when you are talking about some nouns, okay? Or it's also possible when you tell some kind of direction, okay? So if some friends ask you how to get to some point, how to get to some place, so you can also use the preposition to talk about that. That building is next to the building B, for example. Okay, so you can make use of the preposition in that way. Apart from this basic preposition, we have several preposition of movement, just like this, like the word across, around, away from, down, into, you can see from the picture, off, onto, out, over, pass, through, toward, under, and up. What else do we have for the preposition? Actually, for the preposition, it's pretty simple to use. That's because what you need is like the noun and then some kind of verb. Then if you want to use the preposition, think about the meaning. If you understand the meaning correctly, I'm sure that you can use the preposition correctly as well, and then followed by the noun or the pronoun. That can be like when we are talking about those two relationships among noun or pronoun, alright? So what else do we have? Whoa, we have a lot, right? As you know that we use the prepositions in order to express or like to tell the relationship among two things, or probably like more than two things, among like 3, 5, whatever. Okay, so it not only a place, it can be about the time. You can see on the left hand side, right, there will be like about, after, by, during, from, until. Okay, so you can use that in order to talk about the time. For example, this video is about 20 minutes. Or what else? It can be about the manner, by hand, like a pop star, with kindness, without hesitation. So after this preposition, you can see that all of them, they are the noun, like the word hand, pop star, kindness, and hesitation. What else? It can be about the state or condition, at home by themselves, in a state of shock, on duty, okay? Or about the purpose, for the teacher, search for goal. Okay, what else? On the right hand side, we have like means or instrument, by bus, by car, by ship, by airplane, from careful planning, with a pen, without a plan. About the quantity, by the kilo, for $20, or even some like idiomatic use. Some prepositions are used after certain nouns, like impact on, capable of, or some of you may have heard about like proud of, interesting in, stuff like that, okay? So we can use the preposition in that case also. But don't forget that most of them, they are the preposition that must be used with the noun, alright? So I have more examples with the sentence here. We have, let's meet before noon. We've never met before. Well, what do you think about the first two sentences? I told you earlier that when we are using the preposition, what we need is the noun right after the preposition. So what about we've never met before? I don't think that this is the preposition in the second sentence. That's because this is the adverb of time, right? This is the adverb of time that we talk about when. Okay, what about the next one? Mika is hiding under the bed. During the game, the audience never stopped cheering for their team. They moved here because of the baby. We sat next to each other, and the hotel is perched on top of a cliff. Okay, so you can see from the first sentence until like the last sentence, except the second one, right? Except the second one, because the second sentence is not the preposition, that is the adverb. But all of them, like before noon, under the bed, during the game, for their team, because of the baby, next to each other, on top of a cliff. So most of them, all of them, I can say that all of them, we need the noun, okay? But some we have the pronoun, and that's acceptable because after the preposition, what we need is the noun or pronoun. Perfect. Let's move on to another type of the part of speech, that is conjunction, okay? That is conjunction. How can we use the conjunction in the sentence? We normally use the conjunction to connect or to join words, phrases, clauses, or sentences together. Normally, they must be like the equal level. Okay, that should be like the same level of the language. Okay, and the most common ones are and, or, and the word but. Okay, for example, this cup of tea is delicious and very soothing. Wow. Kyoko has to start all over again because she didn't follow the professor's instructions. Homer always wanted to join the play, but he didn't have the guts to audition. Okay, so it's not only about the word and or but that I mentioned earlier. I mean, they are the conjunctions that they are commonly used, but actually I give more example like the word because. Okay, anyway, you can see that from the first sentence, like the word delicious and soothing, they are in the same level. That is the word level. Okay, that is in the word level, or actually we can say like the adjective phrase level. Okay, what about the word because? The word because is used in order to join two clauses together. You can see that we have Kyoko has to start all over again. That is the first clause, and she didn't follow the professor's instruction. That is another clause, and we are talking about some kind of reason, so we use the word because here to join them together. What about the last sentence? Homer always wanted to join the play. That is the first clause. And he didn't have the guts to audition. That is another clause. Some of you may wonder, well, what about the sentence? Actually, the word clause and the word sentence is pretty close, okay? Because if it is independent clause, it can be claimed as the sentence as well, okay? So actually, I can say that like the word because and the word but, it can be used to join two sentences together. That's fine. But actually, to be sure, to be very accurate in like the structure, if you can say like independent clause, that will be perfect. Alright, let's see. We have many types of the conjunctions. What are they? Let's start with the very basic one. Once that I ask you, well, everyone, can you give me like the example of conjunctions? So most of you will address something like but, and, or, stuff like that. That is the very basic one, and you are right. And it's called coordinating conjunctions. Don't forget this name, coordinating conjunctions. We are using them in order to connect two words or groups of words with similar values. Okay, that should be the same level, right? They may connect two words, two phrases, two independent clauses, or two dependent clauses. Wow, so you can see that we need another level after this. Here it's about only word level that we are studying about the part of speech, right? But later, once that we join words together, and then what we get is the phrase level and then clause level. At the end, we can get the sentence level. So don't forget these two words, independent clauses and dependent clauses. I have to say two phrases, frankly. Okay, there are only 7. Alright, 7 coordinating conjunctions in the English language. Wow! And you can see that there's a way in order to memorize these all. Okay, so they are called fanboys. Okay, fanboys. Don't forget S. And that stands for F, that is for, A, that is and, N, that is nor, B, that is but, O, that is or, Y, that is yet, and the last S is so. So it means that there are only 7 of them. So when you hear coordinating conjunctions, alright, that is fanboy. So I'm sure that it will help you a lot to recall, to memorize these 7 words for the coordinating conjunctions. Okay? Let's see the coordinating conjunctions in the sentence. Okay? John and Ricky stayed up all night practicing their guitars. So you can see that the word and is used in order to join two words together. That is in the first sentence. Good. Next one, the squirrel scurried up the tree trunk and onto a low branch. We have up the tree trunk and onto a low branch. So you can see they are prepositional phrase, I mean both of them. So it means that the word and here, it can be used in order to join two prepositional phrases together. Alright? And what about the last one? Several managers sat with their backs to us, and I could almost hear them snickering at us lowly workers. Well, so what do you think about this? It's pretty long, right? So several managers, that should be the subject, and another one, I could almost hear, that should be the subject also. So it means that the word and here is used in order to join two independent clauses together. Wow. So for coordinating conjunction, and I just picked the word and, like the representative of this type of conjunction. And that shows that they can be used to join two words together, two phrases together, and also two clauses together. Alright, good. Next is called subordinating conjunctions. Well, we have the first one, coordinating conjunction. Here we have subordinating conjunctions. I can say that for subordinating conjunctions, we have plenty of them, okay? A lot. Well, I think there's no need to memorize, to remember all of this, but I'm sure that you just understand the way that we use subordinating conjunctions, and then you can like differentiate among like three types of conjunctions later. Okay, for subordinating conjunctions, you can see that we use them only to link or to join two clauses together. Okay, so it means that we can't use them in order to join words together or phrases together, only two clauses together. And that is to introduce, to describe the relationship between dependent clause and independent clause in the sentence. So it means that even one is dependent and another is independent, and that's fine because they are at the same level of the clause. Okay. Some of the common subordinating conjunctions are here. You can see like the word while, as soon as, although, before, no matter how, wherever, until, after, so that, as far as, though, since. Come on, a lot, right? But the way that we use is really simple. Let's see subordinating conjunctions in the sentence. The first one, I can go shopping after I finish studying for my exam. This is to join two clauses together. The first one, I can go shopping. That is independent clause. How do you know that? That is independent clause. That's because I can go shopping. It can stand alone. So don't forget this. Independent clause. Actually, I'm going to teach you how to differentiate between independent and dependent clause later when we are talking about the clause. But anyway, I just introduce you about these two type of clauses here. I can go shopping, it can stand alone because you can understand it clearly, right? But for after I finish studying for my exam, that will be dependent clause because we cannot start like the sentence with those conjunctions, and because we cannot understand. It's just like when your friend comes to you and say, after I finish studying for my exam, and then you would like to know what's going on, what would happen, why, right? So that's the reason. After I finish studying for my exam, that will be dependent clause as it cannot stand alone by itself. Okay. Next, because the night was young, Gertrude decided to take a walk. Whoa. Okay. So because the night was young, that is dependent clause, right? And Gertrude decided to take a walk. You can see that you can understand it completely. That is independent clause. I'll give you a dime if you give me $1. Some kind of condition. Okay, I'll give you a dime. That is independent clause. And if you give me $1, that is subordinating clause. Okay, or I can say that that is dependent clause. Actually, we have so many names to address, to call some kind of clauses. I will talk about that later. Don't worry. Okay. And the last one, although he never figured out why, Hannah winked on her way out the door. Alright, so although starting with that kind of subordinating conjunctions, it means that is like the introduction of the dependent clause, comma, independent clause. All in all, I would like to say that we normally use the subordinating conjunctions to join only independent clause and dependent clause only, not other levels. Okay, just remember this, and there is no need that you need to remember a single words. There is no need to do so. Okay, good. Let's see the last type of the conjunction. It's called correlative conjunction. So you can see correlative. So correlate. So there must be something related together, right? Okay, so for the correlative conjunctions, they are used in pairs and denote equality. Wow, interesting. Used in pair and to denote the equality, that is to show the relationships between ideas expressed in different parts of a sentence. Or we can say that we use the correlative conjunctions to make the joining tighter or more emphatic. That means to emphasize, okay, that you are going to give some kind of emphasis on that sentence. And when joining singular and plural subjects, the subject closest to the verb determines whether the verb is singular or plural. So it means that we are using correlative conjunctions to join, okay? And then there will be one noun that will be pretty close to the verb, and we will determine or consider how we use the verb in which form by looking at that noun. Okay. We have some examples here, like the conjunction both and. Okay, I'm sure that all of you have used this before. Both Rodney and Singh made the varsity team this year, and I make a check for both Rodney and Singh. So both and means A and B. Okay, A and B together. What about neither nor? Neither Rodney nor Singh made the varsity team this year. What about the meaning of this one? Neither nor. So none of them. Not A nor B. Okay, so none of them. What about either or? You can stay either with me or with Janet. So it means that you need to choose, okay, whether you will come with me or you would like to go with Janet. So you need to choose if it is either or, okay. Next is not only but also. Like, not only did Rodney make the varsity team, but he also became one of the strongest players. So it means that he did two things, not only number one, but also number two. Okay, that is not only but also. What about whether or? I can't decide whether I'll take chemical engineering or take medical technology in college. So it means that you need to choose. That's right. Whether you want to study chemical engineering or you want to study medical technology. That is for whether or. Actually, for correlative conjunctions, we have a lot more, and I just brought like only some common used, okay, common correlative conjunction used in daily life. And alright, finally, we are here, the last type of the part of speech in English that is called interjection. Okay, I can say that for interjection, it's different. It's totally different from the previous 7 types of the part of speech. As the previous 7 types of part of speech, they are related to the grammar. Okay, like the noun must be here, the adjective must be before the noun, the pronoun is here, we need to use the adjective right after this, or preposition must be used with the noun, stuff like that. But for the interjection is something else. That's because the interjection is used in order to express emotions only. It's not think about the grammar. Okay, it's not think about the grammar. And since the interjections are commonly used to convey strong emotions, what we need one punctuation. Okay, we need one punctuation to be used followed those interjections. And you can see that it's called an exclamation mark. Okay, exclamation mark. And interjections, you can see they are considered as a part of speech, that's right, but they play no grammatical role in a sentence. Okay, so you don't need to think about like the subject, whether you need to add s, do I need to put ed right after that, in that if it is like the past tense or stuff like that. No need to think about that. And they are single words or phrases that are used to exclaim, protest, command, and rarely appear in formal writing. We can find some of them, okay, but only some, very few. And new interjections to describe different emotions are invented all the time. As you know that the language change is always changing, right? And they vary from region to region. Okay, so we have like a basic interjection here, and like time past. You can see from when you are watching some kind of new movies, and there are lots of new interjection. Okay, and I'm sure that you can learn from that kind of media. Okay, let's see the positions of the interjection. There are only 3 positions mentioned here, but actually in your daily life it's also possible. It depends on when you are using the language, okay? Because as I mentioned that interjections is nothing about the grammar. It can be changed every day, every year. It depends, okay? So don't worry. Number 1, it's possible to be at the beginning of the sentence, like yikes, I didn't realize that there was a test of grammar today. Come on, really? Do we have a quiz? And oh no, I can't believe that it's snowing here again. So in this case, you can see that the exclamation mark is at the end of the sentence. So the whole sentence here is counted as one sentence. Okay. Number 2, in the middle or at the end of the sentence, right? So it's snowing again, huh? With the question mark, it's also possible. That's because this is like you are wondering what's wrong, what's going on here, huh? In my opinion, my gosh, this is just the smartest thing you have ever said. Okay, so here it's also possible to put the interjection in the middle of the sentence without using the exclamation mark. That's fine, okay, no problem. Or it can stand alone, okay, stand alone sentence, right? Oh gosh, and then you just use the exclamation. Probably you can say wow and then exclamation mark, right? And then you just follow by another sentence. Oh gosh, I can't believe how late it is. So don't worry that much about the positions and how to use the interjection, but just use them properly. Well, actually it depends on the meaning, how to use the correct interjections. Just pick the right one. If you get hurt, you just say ouch, not oh my god, or stuff like that. So it just depends on the right way to use the interjection to be proper with the context that you are using. Alright, so I think it's pretty simple how to use the interjection. I'm sure that everyone understands about this. Okay, and this is the end of my video of the Unit 1 about the part of speech. I really hope that you'll enjoy all of my videos. Okay, and see you again in the next unit. Goodbye.